A lot of major events occur at the high banks of Daytona, the Daytona 500 and the Rolex 24. But tonight we are here in GT4 machinery here for the Drivers Club at Road Atlanta, but not at Road Atlanta, here at Daytona. My name is Finity Kuna here with Connor Horn. Connor, as always, glad to have you back in the booth with me for a nice little, actually for a couple of sprint races here.
It's going to be pretty fun. I love this Daytona road course. It's probably one of the most beautiful tracks on the service right now. Just updated, brand new for the 2022 season, and it looks amazing.
Yeah, absolutely does. And let's head down to the racetrack here where qualifying is underway. And we'll get to see the drivers out on the track, currently out there getting their out laps done. And as you mentioned, a couple of sprints, 3 sprint races on for tonight, and in GT4 machinery, 11 guys on tap. So a little bit of a small field, but definitely won't hurt the action, especially with the banking at Daytona. Can really lead to a lot of slipstream battles and keep the field nice and close.
Yeah, slipstream, it's going to be a big factor in this race. Once you get onto the oval, back onto the oval section, into the oval turn 1, that's when it really starts getting dicey with the slipstream. You can start playing with it, might see some weaving at some point. In races here, it's something that you got to look for because, you know, with how this slipstream can be, you almost don't want to be the leader coming to the final few laps because you know you're pretty much in trouble at that point.
Absolutely. And taking a look at Daytona, which is just recently redone in the sim and looks absolutely fantastic. Heading down to the track, trying to see who's out there qualifying at the moment. I guess we'll take a look at Seth Thomas, one of the points leaders heading into tonight. And currently tied with RJ Till in the points. I haven't really kept too much of a track, of the track of the points, but essentially it's RJ Till, Seth Thomas, and trying to check who's in third. David Madden in also near the top, not tied though, like Thomas and Till are. Also note RJ Till not here tonight, which is interesting. Has been pretty much the lone man flying the flag for BMW. Nearly everyone else in a Porsche, and a few also in McLarens. Cameron Campbell, one of those McLarens, out here on the track, getting ready to put a time down, and Jason Owens in the other McLaren in the one car.
We'll see if those McLarens can really do anything. I don't think either car has much of an advantage over the other on the straights and the oval turns, but in the infield section, I think those Porsches will be a little bit more at an advantage, a little bit more nimble through the corners.
Yeah, trying to see if anyone is close to completing a lap. Not quite sure. Everyone's still out there running at the moment. Just trying to take a look. Let's see. I really wish RJ Till was here. We'll take a look at John Bastianer in the number 14 machine. Heading on to the banking now, and a little bit of a pack going on here. Actually, for the driver in behind, trying to take a look who that is. No, not Campbell. So hard to tell when I can't tell who's directly behind on the timing and scoring. Guess I'll go through. Not too many cars. Tyler Hoffman is the driver in behind, and imagine this is a big advantage considering we have open qualifying, is that you got to get such a nice slipstream from the driver up ahead.
Yeah, it's a pretty big part of open qualifying here. That slipstream is going to make or break your lap, but you got to be careful with it. You don't want to have too much slipstream. You don't want to be too close to a driver up ahead because you can get a little bit of aero wash out of some of these corners. Can really affect your bus stop as well. Didn't look like it hurt Tyler Hoffman too much there as he's all over John Bastianer there. Actually bump drafting, tandeming at Daytona. It's usually for NASCAR. I wouldn't do that in some Porsches, but they're making it work.
Yeah, definitely making it work. You want to be careful though when you're doing that because when that happens, you will you have the chance of getting a 0x, so that's going to completely invalidate your qualifying. Doesn't have to be a 1x, 2x, or 4x. It could just be a 0x, and then it's going to take away your lap time. So you have, like you try to do, just to be very smart, very careful about it. And it's not only going to hurt you if you get that double zero, it's also going to hurt the driver you're bump drafting in behind. So that would be Bastianer in the number 14. And indeed, I think they both put a lap time in. I'm not sure they had an off track somewhere else. I see some synchronized spinning from Seth Thomas and that was Tyler Hoffman in the 9. Yes, so both of them going around identically in the the International Horseshoe. Always get those two mixed up, and now they're heading towards the West Horseshoe.
Both horseshoes, but they really couldn't be much more different than they already are.
Indeed, working the way around here. Berg in the number 5 machine, currently at the top of the charts. Trying to see where he's going to go. If he's coming around to NASCAR 3 and 4 now and approaching the start-finish line, see where he's going to end up. If I'm not mistaken, was here the last few weeks, or maybe I'm remembering it wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of someone else. But across the line for him in the number 5, and his pink Porsche is going to go not faster, almost a second down, so still some more time to be found for him. David Madden, however, I think he's actually coming through out of 3 and 4 now. He's only 82 thousandths of a second behind Berg. Very close considering the lap times here are almost 2 minutes. And across the line for him, a 154.6. That will not put him up that. He's just a 10th off his fast time, so still room to improve.
Yeah, those two, kind of surprising to see them on their second laps go slower. Usually, from what I've seen in these cars, especially the Porsches, you kind of speed up as you run laps. But it looks like for these drivers, it's the opposite of what's happening. 1 lap might be all you have. We'll have to see lap 3 for both these drivers who are at the top of the leaderboards right now. But looks like it could be 1 lap, and that's all you get.
Indeed it is. And we're actually going to take a little bit of a quick break here at SimTV. We'll have the qualifying wrap up. Having some internet difficulties, so we're going to try to remedy that. So we'll be right back for the start of the race. right, thank you for a whole lot I can do at the moment, unfortunately. Typically, I've not had a problem in the past. I mean, we just did a stream yesterday, and went perfectly fine. So, I don't know. I'm going to blame Optimum, who's my service provider. I don't care if I'm calling them out.
Kyle does.
Yeah.
Just blames his provider, so.
I mean, really nothing else I can do. I mean, I've usually been a good boy with it, but we're gonna hope for the best. Again, I do apologize in advance. Pretty much out of my control. Haven't really changed any settings, but we'll go through your starting lineup real quick. Here we got on pole. We have A Berg. I really wonder what the full name is because I assume that was edited, unless that's just how it is on his how iRacing has his name as. David Madden's going to be lined up next to him in second place. We move on back to row number 2. Jason Owens and Seth Thomas in third and fourth.
And then the third row, Corey Friedman and Kurt Swearingen, P5, P6, both very similar times for those two. And then row number 4, John Baystainer, Cameron Campbell, 156 and 157 laps respectively. And then the final 3 drivers, row 5, Anthony Couch, Tyler Hoffman, and then Todd Westfelling behind everyone. 11 cars for this one.
Indeed, and we'll see how they're going to get underway here, slowly pacing on through NASCAR's of the field for 6 laps, just about 15 minutes of a sprint. And we are rating and finally green here at Daytona.
See how aggressive everyone is in turn number 1. Seth Thomas, too aggressive. Contact already made. Huge hit into the inside wall. Tyler Hoffman in it. Jason Owens destroyed.
Yeah, and luckily these guys have their damage healing, so able to quickly get back into the action. As I'd imagine, Seth Thomas would be really annoyed getting taken out immediately at the start, but already has some work to do after starting near the front.
That move was just never going to work. Seth Thomas kind of a little bit too deep there.
Oh, and struggling to get the tires, or has them overheating at the moment after one spin. Typically once you spin them out once, tires are going to be melting hot, and then you have to worry about just trying to get them cooled back down again because he went for immediately another spin. Berg already trying to pull away David Madden, who we saw had a great run last week, or 2 weeks ago, sorry, at VIR, up near the front yet again, trying to see what he can do on the back of the 5.
And for a lot of these drivers, you got Taylor, 2 poisons. You have either very cold tires going to turn number 1, like we saw everyone there, or you have Seth Thomas, after having cold tires, you spin them out, and you instantly have your tires completely on fire, as Jason Owens goes for another slide there. You get the tires too cool, you spin. You get the tires too hot, you spin. There's really no winning in those situations.
Heading to the bus stop for the first time. Madden with the run, nowhere to really go yet, and as they work through the bus stop here, I'm sure these drivers are going to be appreciating the fact that they removed the deadly curves that were on the third part when they're turning right back onto the oval course. I was only there for the Rolex 24, and I got to say, as a driver, did not like those curves one bit.
I don't know. I think they would have been fun for a race like this.
I think the drivers would disagree. Madden with a big run, heading the travel already below the double yellow line. He's going to immediately try to take the lead. I don't think he really cares at this point. As Friedman also hounding the outside, trying to poke his nose for third.
Hey, it's a good pass. Who cares? David Madden moving up to the race lead. If that was the final lap, what a photo finish that would have been. These top 3 separated from the rest of the field. Kurt Swearingen, still don't know how to pronounce it. I do apologize, but he leads the majority of the rest of the field in 4th place.
Yeah, I'm going to also say you're probably going up. I don't recall his name from the last few weeks. Kurt, if you were here, do apologize because I don't remember seeing your name on the timing and scoring, but having a great run. Currently running in 4th place after starting up in 6th. He's got Anthony Couch in behind and Cameron Campbell in behind him. Also Hoffman and Baystainer, they're running for position. All 3 of these cars having trouble earlier on, nose to tail heading through the kink.
Jason Owens, after another slide he had, getting back into the mix as well. Has got 4 cars here. Seth Thomas leaves the door open for Hoffman for a split second, gets the better run off.
Heading back onto the oval, they will go up ahead. Madden and Berg after they swap positions, entering turn number 1. Berg trying to keep up to pace here on lap number 2 of 6.
Yeah, you can't let anyone really pull away from you. If they get out of that slipstream range, you're going to have a tough time getting back into that slipstream range. So you have to work insanely hard if you're Berg to stay there. Although I guess at this point, looking back at Corey Friedman, yeah, he has to work hard to stay in that slipstream.
Riding off of the back of Madden, you can see how valuable that slipstream is. Madden, really nothing he can do. And a bit of a bump from Berg.
Why not tandem for a split second? Maybe trying to see how late you can pull out and still win the race to the line. As Berg went high, lost the run through the tri-oval, did not lead that lap, so Madden leads again by about 300ths there and keeps the lead at that.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what Berg is going to do sitting in behind, if he's going to try to make a move or just kind of sit and wait. And again, this is a very short race. It's not, it's not a 24-hour race like the Rolex. It's not even the 4-hour race where what these cars actually do here in real life for the, I forgot what they call that, now the Michelin Pilot Challenge at Daytona, or Endurance, it's the BMW, I think, Endurance Challenge at Daytona. It's sponsored by some company, but typically a 4-hour race, so only 6 laps is what these guys have to do here for this first of 3 sprints. Ending at the end of this race, we will invert the entire grid. So there is that to look forward to as well. So Berg, though, I imagine, what do you think, Connor? Do you think he may try to make the pass, or do you think he's going to just try to sit in line?
That's a tough one. I think it's hard to pass up a win in any circumstance. And with how much pace we've seen from Berg in qualifying and obviously in this race so far, I think he should have the confidence to say, hey, I can go last to first, why not? And I would go for the win, why not?
I'm going to try to go for glory here, maybe. We'll see what he does. Corey Friedman, though, slowly losing them in behind in 3rd place, just about a second in behind. Maybe getting a little bit of slipstream, but not quite much to work with. He goes a little bit wide in the bus stop. That's going to cost him some momentum on exit. As we look at him just trying to reel down the leaders as they slowly break away.
Yeah, I think those top 2 are going to be gone. He was helped in the oval section last lap to stay with them. I don't think he's going to be as lucky this time. I think well out of a slipstream. These 2 should pull away as Berg another run on David Madden. Maybe testing for the end of a race again. Go into the grass, why not? Might as well try any groove you possibly can. Did lead that lap that time and clear for the race lead.
Pass in the grass. Was done at Charlotte in the stock cars many, many years ago. They can do it here, although in real life the official will happily wave you a black flag.
I don't know about happily.
Probably not happily. Probably
No.
very angrily. As you see Madden and Berg still swapping for position. Great stuff from them. Trying to see if any other battles going on in the field. Still Seth Thomas, Hoffman, and Bastainer all nose to tail. And you can see the McLaren of Jason Owens rounding out the field in 11th just in behind them.
Thomas and Hoffman literally nose to tail. Bump drafting in the infield section, which you wouldn't really see. Hoffman wide on exit of the International Horseshoe. Seth Thomas a little bit of a better run, though.
Yeah, I'm a bit surprised that Thomas has not broken away one of the better drivers in this series. It really showed his talent, putting himself up near the front of the field nearly every race, as long as something doesn't happen to him. Put him in the back, but has been struggling in 8th, has not really made up a whole lot of ground. Ooh, as Hoffman goes in very deep, a little bit of a bump. Oh, and Thomas goes around.
That's all by strategy to get the invert to go into his way. What a strategy.
Take a look at what happened there to Thomas.
It's just a little bit too sideways off the corner. Under pressure, a Porsche right behind him, and maybe a little bit of a bump put him wider than he wanted to be. Probably didn't want to be on the curb either. Goes for a little bit of a loop.
Yeah, it's tough being out there. I ran the 24 in the LMP2 class. And, as much traction control and aids as that car has got, it's still very slippery out there. I never really liked running wide because it's good to see the traction control kicking in as both of the leaders below the double yellow line.
That's what I want to see. I want the Podium 500 next year to have a finish like that.
I want to see how that started coming off the banking of this. I was not expecting to see that when we came back to looking at these two. But
That's what I was laughing at.
Both of them below the double yellow line. Oh man!
A race to pit road.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm waiting for one of them to take pit road next time by.
Yeah, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that these guys probably not enforcing track limits on the oval section.
I mean, the FIA didn't a lot of the time. I'd let it go, why not? Look at the scrap. The scrap for about, I guess this is 9th place at this point. Well, Todd Westphaling just went for a slide. He was in the middle of that battle back there, but Seth Thomas still trying to catch up. John Bastioner and Jason Owen still right on top of each other.
Yeah, Basiner spinning out of, Westfling, spinning out of the International Horseshoe. Really big trouble spot. These Porsches, man, on exit look very unstable. A bunch of them going around. The McLaren's looking to be more stable, at least from what we've seen so far.
Just sort of surprising because we've seen the McLarens, specifically in the WDCR series, especially last season, the McLarens really struggled in rear stability, not enough downforce. We saw a lot of slides when there were elevation changes from those McLarens, but it almost looks to be sort of swapped. The Porsches aren't looking too stable right now.
Hoffman with a very big run heading into the bus stop side by side. I would argue someone may have to give here.
Ho ho.
And they're going to be side by side in the bus stop. It's going to be Hoffman that gets the position over Anthony Couch. Pretty much a battle of chicken heading into there.
Meanwhile, at the front, top three, getting closer. Corey Friedman sort of still in that battle a little bit. He's actually closed in on the slipstream a little bit. And I think David Madden, he actually lifted there 100%, trying to maybe set it up for the final lap as they take that white flag.
White flag in the air, lap number 6 of 6 for the first of 3 sprint races here tonight. Madden having a look, or trying to have a look at least around the outside. Can't get it done, and Freeman has just been pouncing on these guys. I'm not sure if he's finally gotten his tires run up or he's just kind of waiting to dive in. Madden deep on the brakes. Freeman also going wide, all of them missing the apex and going to be slow off the corner, but all within the slipstream. This is going to get great when they get to the banking.
Oh, yeah, when they get to the double yellow line, that will be even more interesting. What do they do in oval 1 and 2 below the double yellow line? Don't go too low there, please.
Madden deep on the brakes. Freeman also trying to have a look on the inside. Madden slams the door shut as they go through the West Horseshoe, now approaching the turn back into the banking. We've seen these guys when they're pushing on the exit, trouble occurs. We'll see here, is anyone going to push the limits a little bit too far? Berg goes a little bit wide, but is okay, and now it's a slipstream battle.
Looking at the battle for 8th right now, John Bastioner and Jason Owen still right on top of each other. They were side by side through the kink, but made it work. But right now the battle is a 3-car battle for this heat win.
Don't know if I'm coming to the camera. Finally, there they go. I completely forgot where I put some of these cameras. Berg taking the defense in the inside lane. No, decides to go to the outside. Madden having a little bit of a cheeky look. Is he going to dive in? No, he's going to go a little bit hot, though. Looks like he's able to slow the car down in time. Now it's all a matter of getting a solid exit. And the race onto the banking, they will go right on board with Freeman because he is going to be pretty much in the catbird seat. It's a matter of what he's going to do here.
I don't know if he's going to have enough time to do anything. It's going to have to be David Madden pulling out, and hopefully those two getting side by side slow down, but I don't think Madden's close enough to make a move.
We'll see here, coming out of NASCAR Turn 4, drag race to the line. For Madden, not enough of a run. Freeman, though, tries to have a look, and Madden also there by a bumper, but it was not enough. Bird taking the win.
And meanwhile, back for the 5th position. They're going to wreck for the 5th position. Tyler Hoffman into the outside wall. Cameron Campbell is able to continue and take the spot. Jason Owens will get by. This will help Tyler Hoffman for the invert, I suppose, as he will get across the line in 8th position.
Yeah, try to see if we can get a quick look at this before the track state changes over. These guys dooring each other down the straightaway, pretty much like a typical NASCAR finish, and going flying into the wall. Cameron going to win out in that duel as he's going to take the spot away from Hoffman, although I'm sure he's probably not going to want to be around the number 9 of Hoffman in the next races.
That was exactly what Lake Peterson did to Garrett Maines. He got the win for it, though, so it's all good. Well before the line compared to where that incident happened, though.
Yeah, we'll see here. Already gridding up, wasting no time for race number 2. No time to rest for these drivers. I guess we'll quickly go through the invert here while we're waiting for these guys to grid back up. Never mind, forgot that doesn't work. Well, it doesn't work. I'll turn the ticker on, though. I think they should be lined up in the order that they're stationed on track. I think that should be correct. Todd Westphaling, Seth Thomas, Anthony Couch, Hoffman, Bastian are your top 5. Owens, Campbell, Swearingen, and Freeman, Madden, Berg, the rest of your grid. All inverted. I imagine Seth Thomas, he's going to be happy being up here, although he was in a very similar spot in race number 1, and we saw what happened to him.
They had a good start in race number 1 from the 4th position. Tried to cut to the inside for turn number 1, just sent it a little bit too hard. and couldn't do anything from there. Lost way too much track position. Hopefully a little bit more of a controlled entry into turn one, and he could come out the race leader. Westfalling's gonna have to put up a bit of a fight to stay in front of him.
And you're watching the Driving Club at Road Atlanta, round number 4. In 2 weeks' time, these guys are going to be heading back, actually, this time to Road Atlanta. They were there earlier in the season for the first race, which we did not cover on Sim TV. And then and they'll be in GT3 machinery for the final race of their season. It's going to be interesting. I'm curious to see what the guys are going to bring, because the GT3 class is so diverse on iRacing. We've gotten so many different cars and makes compared to only just 3 makes in GT4. I remember there was only one GT3 car when it was just the McLaren MP4, and everyone was running that. And then the second GT3 car was the rough track, because the Porsche license was still owned by EA at that point, so couldn't have nice things at that point. But then we eventually got more. Now we have too many, arguably.
Yeah, we have a lot to choose from. We'll probably still only see like 3 of them, because it seems like every 3 months one manufacturer becomes better than the other. So we'll see how that shakes out. But for now, another green flag about to await us.
And Westfalling wasting no time as he's jumping on the gas, and we are back green here at Daytona.
Sort of an awkward start. He's going to end up not going, actually, and now we're going to be 3 wide into turn 1 again.
Yeah, I was going to say, he started going, and big crash Thomas out in the wall, this time not to the inside, to the outside wall, as they head off into turn 1. Big crash there.
Anthony Crouch went all the way into the oval, getting back onto the oval. That's where he is. Don't know how you even recover from that.
What happened here at the start? Oh,
wow.
Looks like Thomas made contact. That was with the black car, I think Hoffman or Couch? That was Couch that he hit.
That was Couch for sure. Couch has gone back on track, I guess, in the right place. He's in the international.
This is Cameron
Horseshoe.
Campbell that went around in the S's just after that. So some chaos on the opening lap here. The drivers on the exiting the West Horseshoe. Now it's Hoffman, Friedman, Berg, Baysianer. Oh, that was Berg all the way up in the third.
I was about to notice that. 11th to third. They're not even back onto the oval. That invert not doing its job, I would say. But trying to see where David Madden is through all this. Not too far behind, but at the same time, very far behind in the 6th position. A few seconds behind Berg.
Yeah, I'm sure he's got, and I can be happy that his competitor's gotten a little bit further up ahead than he would have probably liked. Now it's just a matter of getting your head down and getting it done here. Field now working through the bus stop. We're about to start working through the bus stop for the first time. You see Hoffman leading them on through.
Pretty comfortable lead for Hoffman through the bus stop, but that will all change through Oval 3 and 4. Friedman and Berg might work together here. Friedman, by the way, started 9th, so getting through the field pretty quickly as well. Might be the race leader by the time lap 1 ends. Goes to the outside, trying to lead that lap. Almost contact. Side drafting in Porsches. We'll see 3 wide, most likely, if I know Berg. No, it gets the bumper. Oh, it's going to be contact. Friedman does lead the lap, though. They almost took all 3 of each other out.
As I say, Berg gave Hoffman a little bit of a bump, almost went flying up into Friedman. That could have been disaster. Corey Friedman going to go a little bit wide in turn 1 as he recovers.
David Madden's gone around. He backed it into the tire barrier with back there. I think that might have been Kurt Swearingen. Yeah,
Swearingen got into him, and around Madden went hard impact into the tire barriers.
That is a tough hit there.
Oh, and a car off. That's Westfalling off in the International Horseshoe this time.
And they're side by side for the race lead. Hoffman and Berg side by side through the kink. Now John Baystainer is there. 4-car race for the race lead right now. In 5th place, Jason Owens not too far back.
Fantastic stuff here from Daytona. Berg trying to take the lead, is able to get clear of Hoffman, but he can try to get clear, but you're not going to break away. Freeman punts Hoffman, and around he goes on the exit.
And Hoffman had nothing he could do there. Used up as a break by Friedman there. How about Berg? Didn't even take a lap and a half to get last to first. That's even with the circumstances, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, it is a really impressive climb, able to navigate his way through the traffic, through the wrecks, put himself up near front. Friedman we saw getting it seems like he figured stuff out. I guess wasn't running probably the most ideal line the first few laps in race number 1. Picked it up towards the end, was looking to be one of the fastest cars. I didn't even check his lap time, but I argue it might have been one of probably the fastest lap times with the help of the draft. And speaking of which, gonna have a lot of help this time by.
Gained a lot of time on that pink 5 machine through the bus stop, and it's going to carry that run all the way out of Oval 4, 5 miles per hour faster than Berg. Easily pulls to the outside to attain the race lead to lead another lap.
We'll see, though, if he's going to get clear of Berg, and easily is able, as you mentioned, easily able to do so. We'll see Berg, does he try to outbrake? Freeman has a bit of a lane. Freeman going a little bit wide into the corner, but able to close in on exit to secure the spot. And John Basinger sitting quietly in the 14 car.
Yeah, Basinger really outbraked everyone in the top 2 there. Really solid under braking into the fight rather quickly just because of all the ground he made up into turn number 1. Jason Owens not as well under the brakes right now, sort of on his own in P4, and Tyler Hoffman back up into the 5th position.
And you can see these guys duking out for 5th position. There's Hoffman, Madden, Swearingen battling it out for 5th place, and Seth Thomas. Man, I gotta say, between himself and RJ Till not here this week. When one of those two was dominating, the other was out in the back and he's struggling to gain position or just caught up in other people's messes. And for Seth Thomas, that seems to be what's going on for him. Similar story to what happened to him last week. Or last time out, I should say, at VIR. Just was caught up in other incidents, never really quite able to be up near the front where you can argue he probably should be based off of raw speed. But sitting back in 8th, trying to climb up the order. Back to our leaders, working the way to the bus stop this time by. And Berg waiting patiently in the wings, waiting to attack. Like a shark waiting for his prey. I'm curious to see, we saw him and Madden engage in, I guess what you can call shenanigans.
That's one way to call it.
Coming out of turn 4. See if we see anything this time by how defensive Freeman's going to get. Looks like Berg just happily giving him a little bit of a shove. You got to be careful. Car is not really designed for that kind of drafting.
Oh, there he goes to the inside, though, into turn number 1. Waited till the last second to make that move. They're going to be dead even through the corner. Berg pulls ahead, almost hit the tire barrier, but clear of Friedman for the race lead for the time being.
And Freeman gave him plenty of space to work with as well. Berg also almost clipped the grass. I actually think might have clipped maybe half a wheel down into the entry. Freeman got very close to his bumper there. Basically, just kind of waiting to see what happens here. I think it's kind of hoping that these two take each other out. He can just emerge from the smoke after that. Either that or he's waiting for the last lap to try to make one last draft pass on one of these two.
Look at the battle behind him.
Contact with the leaders. Berg going spinning around in the West Horseshoe, and he is definitely not going to have a shot at winning this race.
At least not for now. That's the second time Friedman's done something like that. Really struggling under braking when there's a driver in front of him, as now it puts John Bastainer all the way up into the race lead, 3rd to 1st. That quickly, Friedman's 2nd, Owens 3rd now, and Berg recovers back onto the track, but back in 7th.
Yeah, you can see he's got some work to do. At least try to climb back up to 4th. He's got Swearingen, Madden, Hoffman on the screen just up the road, and not really anyone else directly in front of Hoffman. 6 seconds next to Jason Owens, sitting quietly in behind Freeman, who's in behind Basinger. And Basinger able to work his way through all that.
And with a decent gap for the race lead, but that'll close down a lot in the bus stop. Look at the run Friedman got through that bus stop. He's going to be able to really carry this to the line this time, coming to 2 laps to go.
Now we'll take a look at the speed too. Never really got to see the speed on these guys. You can see the closing rate at the moment, currently going about 5 miles an hour faster than the 14. Huge at his steam as he makes a pull to the inside lane. Basically, they're not going to fight much with this, as we have 2 laps to go at the line. They see the lights from the McLaren of Owen sitting behind, and he's trying to catch up to these 2 guys so he can have a chance at the battle.
He's going to try his best to be the lone McLaren to do anything today. Battle for 4th. Madden back up into that position. Hoffman behind, Swearingen 6th. Berg trying to recover, still 7th, but gaining.
And Madden just trying to make up some spots after just trying to work his way up through the orders. I guess able to get ahead of Berg after Berg got punted from Freeman. Now Freeman trying to break away. Oh, Basinger, I think, had a little bit of an off or trouble out of the International Horseshoe.
I think he got a little bit sideways, but gathered it up. Not before losing that 2nd position to Jason Owens. Friedman in a decent spot. Not too really no one too close to him. Pretty far away from any slipstream, but Owens will have enough to still close in.
Yeah, you're probably wondering how come these guys are so slick out there. I actually will take a look at the track temp. Not too hot, a little bit maybe warm, I guess is the best word for 93 degrees on the track, 71 in the air. Definitely have seen worse. But with the traction control the way it is, especially in iRacing too, it can help you a lot of times, but for some cars, especially the Porsche from experience, it can hinder you. If you get a little bit sideways, the traction can easily help you go around once you're a little bit loose. So it's definitely an animal to control. I personally don't think the track control works as well as it probably should, in my opinion, in iRacing. I feel like it is sometimes more of a hindrance. It's gotten a little bit better. Some cars have it a little bit more dialed in to where it helps you a lot more than it hurts you. I know ACC, I think, is probably one of the best when it comes to traction control. I feel like that always helps you and doesn't try to kill you every other corner like we're seeing some of the guys in iRacing struggling with. As we talk about Jason Owens closing in as we got the white flag in the air.
Yep, white flag. These three sort of still on top of each other. McLaren of Owens trying to find a way around Friedman. Nothing doing just yet. John Basin there just trying to stay in the fight for the time being. Madden 4th, Hoffman 5th, Berg up to 6th.
Whoa, and a big dive from Owens. Not sure if he necessarily meant that. I think just drove in a little bit too deep, and we're talking about aids. These guys also have ABS, so once you put the foot down on the floor, that's all it's going to give you. And whether he liked it or not, definitely got the lead. Problem is, may not have been the best place to get the lead.
A little bit too early to be doing that, but another dive by Friedman at least shows the nose. Owens will have the lead, but Slipstream is not going to be his friend like it was going to be if he stayed in second place. John Basainer could be his friend though if he battles Friedman.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Basainer now caught up with that after Owens and Friedman a little bit while entering the West Horseshoe. So now he's tucked in the draft. He just has to make sure he gets a solid run out of the bus stop. And then he should be good to at least have a swing for second, maybe first. Freeman also, we saw him trying to make a run at the end of the last race. Wasn't quite able to do anything from third, but looking to have a great run on Owens here. I'm curious to see, is he going to dare make a move before they head to the bus stop? Here we go, side by side. Are we going side by side? We're going to try to go side by side here into the bus stop.
It's going to work, though. Owens backs out. Friedman away with the race lead, but is it enough of a lead to maintain? Owens a bit sideways, but I think he still has a shot.
Yeah, I think got a little bit aggressive there with the cut in the second part of the bus stop, the second turn there. So I assume it looks like he doesn't have a slowdown, so he's going to try to get a run here, but Friedman with a solid lead.
I think it's going to be enough for Friedman to hold on. Owens doesn't have a push from Bastainer. It's going to be to the line. I think Friedman's got it.
Indeed, he does. A solid run for Freeman, and he will get the win in race number 2. Bastainer trying to make a run also at the line for second, but it's not enough. Owens going to have to settle for second, and I guess congratulations at the line. We'll call it that as they go into the wall. Hoffman and Madden with their own drag race going to end also in a crash. Take a look at them. They're a close margin of victory. I guess not really victory, margin between both these guys for fourth place. There you can see right there, Hoffman etching out Madden. Swearing in Seth Thomas coming across the line. Thomas, I imagine, probably going to be disappointed of what could have been. Going to finish in 8th, I think, the second time. Campbell, Westfelling, and Couch rounding out the rest of your field.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens here. It's maybe the fastest driver, the more clean driver, Berg. That 5 machine, that pink car, it's going to be sort of down the order, I believe, potentially for the start of this race. So we'll see what they can do. Yeah,
and also to mention, too, we have one more race. It's going to be slightly longer in length. And also no inver. Where you finish in this race is where you're going to start race number 3. Take a look at the final results of race number 2. Fantastic action there. Can't wait to see what these guys are going to have up here as we got a little bit of a warm-up period. Going to take just a little bit of a break here, and we'll be back for the start of race number 3. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the beaches of Daytona here at Daytona Beach, Florida. Taking a great look at the track. If you're wondering where this footage is from, it's from Microsoft Flight Simulator. They did an absolutely beautiful job with this game. I think if you had to show this to anyone on the street, you'd probably think it's actual real-life footage because it just looks that incredible. But some great shots provided by Kyle Heyer. Hopefully to get some more of those on Sim TV throughout the year because it looks absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing footage to look at. We've also got some amazing action to come down to on the track gridding for the final race of tonight. Got 10 laps on tap for these guys to take a stab at Corey Freeman after winning race number 2. Going to be starting on pole for race number 3.
Yep, on pole for this one. See what Freeman can do. Looked pretty strong when he got out front. A bit squirrely behind other drivers. Ran over a few drivers into turns number 1, and I believe the corner coming out onto the oval. I don't know what corner number that is. I apologize, but
I don't either.
struggled into the corners under braking a lot of the time, so we'll see if that becomes a factor if he gets passed up the race lead.
Yeah, I usually just call it the, I think I labeled it on the camera. I just put infield exit as the name of the camera. Because typically every other corner has a name here. Even the kink in the middle, it's just called the kink. But yeah, that's like the one corner that probably needs a name and just doesn't. But yeah, that is definitely a bit of a trouble spot for some of these guys, especially on colder tires. Let's see what we can do here. Freeman, Owens, Bastianer, Hoffman, Madden, your top 5. Also Berg sitting outside in 6. So a lot of the fast guys near the front of the field. See who's going to try to take it all here in race number 3. Pace car just getting ready to pull off. We're seeing a little bit of two chaotic starts here. We'll see how the third one's going to fare. Freeman with the slow roll to the line. Little bit of a jump, doesn't go quite yet. Waiting. And it's finally going to jump on the gas. We're green back here at Daytona for race number 3.
Owen sort of shifted around. They're going to be 3 wide again. We've seen this before. They're going to be 4 wide. Why not? They made it farther than the last few attempts. I don't know how they made it into turn 1 and 2 that time.
Yeah, looks like after a little bit of beating banging, everyone's going to give each other just enough space to make it on through. With Freeman out ahead.
Seth Thomas trying to get through the field pretty quickly. Way deep on the brakes. Jason Owens deep on the brakes. Anthony Couch goes wide, but everyone else somehow didn't make too much contact.
Oh, and a bit of a spin in behind. Cameron Campbell going to go for a spin in 9th. Going to fall back to 10th. Meanwhile, up in the front, Madden having already the back of Corey Freeman racing off into the West Horseshoe.
Yeah, I don't know how he got the second pretty quickly there in front of Berg. Everyone single filing out. Hoffman, Bastainer, Owens, Thomas, Swearingen, all in this line of about 7 or 8.
Everyone single filing. This is the most cars we had in a group. And it's going to get very interesting heading on to the back straight because, again, cannot talk about Daytona without talking about that slipstream because it is so powerful, especially in slower cars like GT4 cars. So that's where a lot of the action is going to be happening at. There you see Madden already trying to take advantage of the slipstream here, working their way to the boss stop. Does he already try to take a move? No, he's going to play a little bit more patient, which is kind of what we saw in race 1. Though Hoffman, not as patient behind, going to take a dive on Berg, and they make contact. Oh, Berg made contact with Madden, and both Madden and Berg spinning off to the inside.
That's 2 of the best drivers that we've seen tonight. Probably out of contention already, so that's going to be extremely frustrating for those guys.
Now let's see what happened. We'll try to get a look at what happened here.
Hoffman with the dive, and then Berg.
Oh, some
little
netcode.
bit of net code. I don't know if they would have touched there, to be honest.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, once these cars get dislodged as a passenger.
Gosh. It's out of control for 2nd position. Look at this.
Yeah. Saw a little big bump from Seth Thomas at the back of Bastainer in behind Owens and Swearingen.
Oh, that's a big bump.
Oh, and around they go. Where will they stop? Nobody knows in turn number 1.
Yeah, that was a bigger bump than you might want at Daytona.
Yeah, domino effect there. A big bump before they got to the turn. Bastianer deep in the brakes. I think Thomas trying to, I don't know what he was trying to do. He was trying to brake later in the corner, and then a few bumps in behind and a few guys going around.
Yeah, a lot of those guys got held up a lot. And for the first time, I believe, all night, the leader is gone. Corey Freeman out to an extremely big lead.
Yeah, a little bit disappointing considering how much action we see in the first few races, but I'm sure he's going to be a happy man. Just a little bit of a gap to work with. Actually, a little bit of a gap, quite a big gap. 4.5 seconds. Back to Tyler Hoffman, Jason Owens, Swearingen, Bastianer fighting for a position. In behind them for third position.
Won't be over for Friedman quite yet. If those drivers, Hoffman back to Baystainer, get formed up and draft a little bit, they can still easily close in on Friedman. Slipstream makes that big of a difference.
Yeah, it really is going to, the rest of the group can get and try to see if they can have a shot. And I haven't really seen a lot of pace from Hoffman, though. I guess it's going to be the big question mark is now that he's got, you know, a little bit of clean air to work with, knowing that he's racing around. Because I think for the most part he's been kind of stuck in the rest of the pack. Now he's got some clean air to work with. Can he just try to get his head down and try to see if he can put a good lap time to catch up to Corey Freeman just ahead?
We'll have to wait and see. Times won't really reflect how much time he gains here because of the spin and the wrecking into turn number 1. 3 of those guys back there, Owen Swearingen and Baystainer, sort of formed up, spread out, but formed up, slipstream off of one another, off of Hoffman as well. So they'll try to motor their way up to the 9 machine here.
Jason Owens a little bit cautious on the brakes. Swearingen trying to take advantage of that work around the outside. Couldn't get it done. Baystainer, a good run through the S's, but nowhere quite to go as they head into the International Horseshoe. Tries to have a look to the outside. See Swearingen slamming the door shut as well. Trying to keep him at bay.
Hoffman able to keep a decent gap as those 3 start to battle. Owens, once again, the lone McLaren really up at the front at all. The only one on the podium for sure. And the other McLaren, Cameron Campbell, has actually recovered a little bit. He got ahead of David Madden because of the incident. Madden actually getting by him right now through the kink.
David Madden fighting for position, as you mentioned, just barely going to get by the McLaren, though he's going to have a look. Campbell going to try to have a look up the inside of the West Horseshoe. Couldn't get his car established alongside enough, so he will have to yield 8th place to Madden.
Oh, a little bit of contact for third. Swearingen got a little sideways back onto the oval basin or hit him. They kept it straight, though.
Yeah, these Porsches really struggling through here. There you saw right there, and a little bit of contact. Definitely seen worse.
Oh, we've seen much worse.
We have seen much worse in this race. Quite a few punts here and there.
Nothing wrong with sending it every now and then.
2 keeps the FIA away, what I heard.
We can only hope.
So we're talking about that gap. Last time we were looking at it, about 4.5 seconds separating first and second. Hoffman, though, is being about a second into that gap. And then taking a look at the lap times, too. Actually, last lap was not a good look at it. I think it's actually this time by you'll see a big difference.
Friedman looking here, 56.082. And Hoffman a 55.1. That's a full 9/10 swing right there.
Yeah, I mean, if Hoffman keeps this up, he's going to easily catch Friedman because he's going to get that draft at about 1 second back and then smooth sailing from there. However, he's also got to worry about McLaren also catching him in behind. I think also one of the fastest cars on the track. Jason Owens in the 154.4 for the 1 machine.
Definitely the fastest car on track last time by using Slipstream himself. If he was intelligent, wanted to race for the win, I think the best thing he can do is just stay behind Tyler Hoffman as long as Hoffman's still closing in. If Hoffman sort of stalls out, you kind of got to get by him as quickly as you can. But Hoffman's catching him just as well, so I think stick together and they should be in the race for the win soon enough. Yeah,
that's the tough thing about, you know, when you have draft-dependent tracks, which again, for these cars, quite a few of them on the calendar are, is that you pretty much have to decide if you want to stick in behind someone or if it's worth passing, because you can try to pass them and then have some clean track to try to make up some time, but then you have them constantly trying to draft up and behind you and then making a pass, and then you have to deal with defending that position, and you just end up losing out quite a bit of time overall. So it's just a matter of a decision of whether you want to stick in behind or not. Owens catching up to Hoffman here, entering the bus stop, and I think, as you mentioned, just going to decide to stick in behind here.
Through the bus stop, got to use all the curbing that you can. Side by side for 4th behind him, Baystainer gives up the position to Kurt Swearingen, as Baystainer really had to give up a lot of time. Could not hit the apexes the way he wanted. He might drop back to Seth Thomas, who's carrying David Madden, along with him.
Here's a look at the replay from that battle. There you see them both ending up side by side, and Baystainer really having to get off the gas. And these are also, especially at Daytona, very much momentum-driven cars. So when you get off the gas like that, it takes a while to get that speed, and lost a huge amount of time, as you mentioned, to Seth Thomas, who's now trying to chase down the 14 car for 5th place.
Almost for 8th. Cameron Campbell has a run on Anthony Couch. A huge run. 10 miles per hour faster, as a matter of fact. He's got nowhere to go, but right into the back of Couch just about.
McLaren almost went into the wall and actually does get into the back of Couch. Hit him once, hit him twice. Does he hit him a third time?
Might as well be going to Martinsville. Why not at this point? That's what it's racing like, especially through turns 1 and 2. They'll go side by side into the horseshoe, Couch into the grass a little bit, but able to keep it straight. Campbell deep under brakes. I think he might get him here.
I was going to say, you never want to see a car struggling to brake on the inside lane. Easily able to hit someone in the door, but able to get the carbo down. Campbell going to gain 1 spot up into 8th. Also looks like Berg has retired in the number 10 machine, so he will be out for the rest of the event. David Madden still trying to climb.
Well, battle for 4th still raging on. Swearingen and Basin are staying right next to each other. Swearingen, excuse me. Still not sure how to pronounce it, but we'll go with the aforementioned one, as these two sort of tandeming a little bit. Basin might want that spot back. A little bit of a bump there. I don't think he appreciated how he got past in the bus stop last time by. He's going to bump him all the way down to the double yellow line. Not really where you want to apex the bus stop. How long do they still down? Will they stay down there? Basin lifts to get the apex. Swearingen, a really compromised line.
It actually makes it sick for the most part. I think he might have hurt himself a little bit more on exit, but able to make it on through. I was getting a little nervous because the way Basin was bumping him. He was bumping it, hitting him in the corners and the sides. And if you're not in a stock car, you're going to send someone around. These things have curved bumpers because they're, again, never designed for this kind of racing with bump drafting in mind. And yeah, easy way to send a competitor around. You see Seth Thomas trying to get a draft.
Oh boy.
I think he had a little bit of a hit. And now looking to the outside of Basin. Oh, and another hit. Wow, Basin really likes hitting the back of Swearingen as they head off into turn 1.
Middle of the battle for 2nd. Jason Owens got to the outside of Hoffman, but couldn't make it work. These drivers really battling hard for that 4th position, though, as Seth Thomas climbing through the field, finally seeing what he can do once he's able to race around other cars, as he's almost up 1 spot short of the podium, and David Madden on his climb back up.
Yeah, and Basin looked like he went to the grass trying to defend Madden. Madden with a deep dive into the horseshoe is going to try to turn him back around. Gets a great exit. Nowhere to quite go. Basin as much as possible. Aggressive block. Madden swerving down the straightaway to make something.
Basin has to go a little bit defensive. Don't really want to have to go defensive into kink, but he's able to make it work, maintain position. Seth Thomas working on Swearingen right behind.
Ooh.
Wow.
You can hear Madden. I knew he got out a little bit too early on the throttle trying to catch back up to Basin, and that cost him a lot of time. Good to easily get the slipstream, or should be able to at least get some slipstream, but cost him another lap that he's probably not going to be really able to do anything. Taking a quick look back up at our leaders before we cut back to that exciting battle. Freeman, a gap now 2.8 seconds. Hoffman and Owens both closing in. That battle's starting to heat up. Swearingen Thomas back at it yet again. Curious to see how this time it ends up.
It had the bumper Seth Thomas put to Swearingen. Swearingen's going defensive into a bus stop. They'll lose a lot of time doing this. Thomas sort of backs out to keep on the apexes correctly as they stay in a 4-car line here.
And now back on the oval, and you can see how much time Thomas is already gaining. Curious to see where he's going to go with this momentum. Because he's going to catch him pretty early on the straightaway here. Oh, no. That's not going to work.
Oh, no, that was never going to work. Swearingen around. Aderingen's blocking Basiner into the back of Thomas. Now Madden to the inside here.
Now take a look at the leaders, because you can never quite rest for a second in this series. There they go off into turn number 1. And a big dive for Madden, going to get clear of Thomas. And now Basin are going to try to have an attempt at the red machine of Thomas.
Swearingen got back going right before getting passed by Cameron Campbell, so those two will be in a sort of tandem on their own for the time being. Down to 3 cars battling for this 4th position. How much of a battle will it be, though, with Madden back out there?
Yeah, I think it still has a battle, because no matter what Madden's going to do, he's going to have Thomas. And we know Thomas is a fast cookie. Just maybe one too many mistakes tonight, keeping him back in the midfield. And take a look back at our leaders here as this battle slowly calming down. Freeman working his way onto the banking. Hoffman slowly in pursuit. Looking at the last lap times between these two drivers, 154.9 for Hoffman to a 155.8 for Freeman. So almost a second gain for Hoffman in these closing laps.
And Jason Owens is a 155.6, gaining on the leader, but lost Hoffman a little bit there. Back in tow, though, as these two, second and third, start to close in ever so closer to that slipstream effect.
Yeah, they cannot get separated from each other no matter what at this point, unless the drivers make a mistake. That's the only way you're really going to see any sort of separation. And Madden a little bit cleaner there through the bus stop, gained a little bit of time back to Thomas, but Thomas is going to be slowly reeling that back in, taking a look for the lead. Actually, not even just for the lead, for second place. Owen starting to close in. Is he going to start to get more aggressive here at the line? 3 laps to go in race number 3.
Only about 2/10 faster that time, Hoffman was. Owen's closing back in the battle for second. They still have to work together a little bit longer to have a chance at the win, though. Can't get too impatient at this point. Madden went way wide through 2, into the grass. Battle for 4th is back on.
Battle for 4th. Let's take a look back at it. Here's Seth Thomas riding on board with him, trying to look up the inside again. Here, base standard 2 is outside, trying to have a look, side-by-side battle for position.
As a single foul again for the kink. These 3 really aggressive. All 3 of them have been very aggressive. It sort of cost them ground in this race. Having to work together, all 3 of them, to have any sort of shot at even a podium fight is going to be a tall task.
And Madden, he just got to be a little bit careful. I saw his car get a little bit squirrely in the middle of the corner, trying to get back on the throttle. You have to be a little bit patient, and especially now that they have quite a few laps on these tires. They're a little bit warm, especially if you've been pushing. They're going to be a little bit more hot. So you start pushing aggressively on the throttle, it's going to spin out. You're going to lose all your progress.
Yeah, you can't afford to do that at this point in a race. It's already been 8 laps. Pretty much 16 to 18 minutes coming up on, 14 to 16 more accurately. You don't want to put all that time to waste and make a silly mistake on throttle.
Freeman working his way through the bus stop. Hoffman doing the same. It looked like Freeman actually got a pretty decent exit. Maybe not as good. Hoffman got a little bit of a better one. I think was slower in the first part of the bus stop, but is now not gaining as much time. Freeman, I think, was the faster car this time through, which is definitely, I guess, where you want to start turning that around, because it's starting to look a little bit iffy for him up in the front.
Yeah, looking more and more unlikely for there to be a fight for the win. There's still a fight for 4th. Seth Thomas, big run on David Madden, coming to the start-finish line. Will he look outside? Will he look below the yellow line? He's just going to go right into a bumper of Madden into turn number 1.
Yeah, he really likes being on people's bumpers, and we saw what happened with swearing, and I hope that doesn't happen again. I want to see a relatively clean fight between these two. Ooh,
As clean as it can get.
Had a little bit of a connection issue there. Don't worry, I feel you at this point. The kink they will go. Slowly starting to also lose base standard in behind in the 14. He's been kind of hanging out like a third wheel in this fight. Hasn't really done anything. I think he's kind of hoping for a similar fortune what happened in the last race, where the leaders kind of collided with each other, and then he was able to poke his way on through. It's not for the lead this time, but could easily get 4th place if Thomas and Madden collide.
Yep, not out of it just yet. He still has plenty enough slipstream to stay in this fight, but just not getting through the infield section as well as he might need to. Last time by the lap before, about 9/10 slower than Seth Thomas, 8/10 slower than David Madden. Those 2 battle, he's still in it, but he's really struggling on his own.
Freeman working his way through the bus stop. We'll see the white flag next time at the stripe. There you can see last lap time, 155.1 for the number 7 machine. Hoffman in behind, trying to catch up, 151.7 as well. Sorry, did I read that wrong? Sorry, it was 155.1 for Freeman and 155.7 for Hoffman. So, lost about 0.6 of a second, but looked like he gained a lot. Was it too little too late, though? 2 seconds in the gap between Hoffman and Freeman. If Freeman makes a mistake, the 9 is there. White flag in the air for the race number 3, the final race of the evening.
Yeah, that time by, it was about a 9/10 swing, but it's going to need to be more than that. It's going to need to be 2 full seconds to make up here if you want a shot at the win. Battle for 4th. Thomas almost into the back of Madden. Those 2 still battling hard. Baystainer way deep into turn number 1 as they all spread each other out a little bit further.
Yeah, I think that might actually end up taking them Baystainer out of contention just a little bit after missing turn number 1. Well, even Madden too, a little bit wide, tries to cut it in on exit a little to get a run off. I guess That's definitely a line. Not sure if it's the best one, but definitely seems to be working for him, trying to build up that gap back to Seth Thomas. Checking back in on Hoffman now. A second is the gap. I'm amazed he gave this much time in the infield. Freeman starting to slip a little bit here when it counts the most.
Not sure what happened, if Friedman's being too conservative, or just trying to maybe make a little bit of fun out of it, which wouldn't be too surprising. But Hoffman's definitely there in contention in Slipstream now.
Yeah, he's starting to get a little bit of that Slipstream. Maybe not as much as he would probably like, but I can see visually the gap starting to climb down on the relative. He's definitely caught something. Now it's just a matter of they got that bus stop, and it may not seem like much, but if you mistime that run, if you mess up that exit, Hoffman's going to be over him. Gap now just under a second as they approach the bus stop for the final time this evening. Here they go, working their way on through. Does Hoffman have enough of a run out here to catch the leader?
I don't know if he's going to have enough. He's going to have Slipstream. He got a clean enough exit to get the run. I just don't think he was close enough out of the bus stop to do anything.
Oh, he's trying so hard. Gap 0.8 of a second now, climbing down to 0.7 of a second. The closer he gets, the stronger the draft will get. But as they round out in NASCAR turn number 4, it's not going to be enough. Corey Freeman going to walk home with not only their win in race number 2, but the win in race number 3 as well.
Hoffman's second. Podium goes to Jason Owens, who dropped back in third. Madden and Thomas in that order to complete the top 5. Baystainer 6th. A long ways back to Cameron Campbell in 7th.
Yeah, trying to catch everyone working their way through the line. There's Cameron Campbell in 7th. Kurt Swearingen, not much of a race for him in 8th. And Anthony Couch rounding out the order in 9th. And it looks like everyone's deciding now to have some fun on the oval, it seems.
The best part about the track. Oh!
I was wondering why they were going through the bus stop then. I completely forgot that they put the tire barriers now instead of the cones.
And Jason Owens has definitely hurt his car. At least he did there. That tire barriers are dangerous, man.
We'll see this. I completely forgot they added them because they had the cones there for the 24. And then it's, a little bit of flashing. Oh! Putting the new damage model to some good work.
That was a massive shunt. Oh, no, you missed.
I think he was trying to miss. At least it seemed like it.
I hope so. That was Seth Thomas, by the way.
While these guys are having fun down in the infield, take a look at your race results here. After some great action here. Corey Freeman, your race winner. Of course, Tyler Hoffman. He had such a good run there towards the end of the race, but just not quite able to get it done. After he caught up so much, I think probably one more lap and he would have had him.
Yeah, for sure. Still not sure what happened to Friedman, if he slowed down to make it exciting, or maybe just a little bit too conservative through turn 1 and into the horseshoe, because that's where he lost most of that time. Hoffman had a charge, just couldn't quite get it done in time. That incident with Seth Thomas in turns 1 and 2 sort of almost gave the win to Friedman in a way. That was pretty much the deciding factor. Friedman was out of anyone's draft range, and it pretty much carried him to victory. Yeah,
then David Madden, Seth Thomas, after what you guys mentioned, great battle with them, and also Baystainer too, swearing in, also probably kicking himself or gonna kick someone, maybe Seth Thomas after he got punted out of the way. Actually, not even punted, he just got straight out turned out at NASCAR turn 4 after some, I guess, aggressive bunt drafting. It was actually looking more like something Joey Logano would be doing in the Daytona 500.
Actually, yeah, Joey Logano has done that.
Yeah, so I guess it's you can probably say Seth Thomas practicing for the iRacing Daytona 500 with moves like that. But yeah, everyone working through the rest of yours. Unfortunate to see Berg not complete the race. I guess felt like he had enough after getting taken out of contention early on. Felt there was nothing left for him to do.
Yeah, definitely one of the faster cars after they reset. Didn't get back on track. Obviously, the self-healing cars, but I don't think he felt good about how the race went down. I think he was upset that he took someone out on accident. Wasn't really his fault. A lot of net code there, but maybe he just felt bad.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fantastic race. Gosh, fantastic couple of races here at Daytona. Action-packed till the end. Even the last one too, where we thought that it was going to be Freeman taking home the win with an easy win. So close to not being that way.
Yeah, it was very close. If it was maybe Talladega, for example, and the start finish line was a bit pushed up, it could have been a little bit of a different story. And if Hoffman a little bit better in some corners, if he was especially better in the bus stop and getting out of the oval, he could have been there for sure. Just little moments like that can make all the difference in races like this.
And well, with that, that's going to wrap up coverage here of round number 4 for the Driving Club at Road Atlanta. Again, my name is Finity Kuna here with Connor Horn. And for tonight, we're going to be signing out. But before we go, I got to mention to you again, the finale of this series is going to be happening in 2 weeks' time. They're going to be back in Road Atlanta with GT3 machinery, so you're definitely not going to want to miss that action from there. Faster cars typically lead to some faster excitement. And looking at Sim TV in general this week, next race is going to be on Saturday, and Connor, you're going to be with me in the booth as we have Xfinity car action from Homestead Miami Speedway, round number 2 for the guys at ORL. Fantastic race at Daytona. Looking to see what they can do this upcoming Saturday at Homestead. B cars at Homestead, probably one of the better combinations for stock cars in iRacing, in my opinion.
It's definitely up there for sure. Homestead's really great for these Xfinity cars. You can sort of do some multi-grooved action, especially during the day. It's going to be a blast. We're going to see the tires kind of get chewed up a little bit. You're going to want to save them for that final run of the end once we get to that point in that Outsiders Racing League race. It's going to be really fun to watch.
Signing out for tonight. Thank you for watching.